Welcome back to another episode of the Deep Dive English podcast. My name is Sam,
My name is Anna.
and today we're going to be talking about jobs and some of our best jobs, some of our worst jobs, and how we arrived in the place that we are in now. So, Anna, first of all, how are you? How was your weekend?
It was pretty good, I would say. It was quite rainy and quite grey most of the time. But I met with my parents who came back from a very long holiday this weekend with my sister and my little niece and my brother and my brother-in-law. So we had a little family gathering and it was really nice. How
Oh,
was your
sounds so
weekend,
cute.
Sam?
First of all, where did your parents go on holiday? Were they traveling around Poland or did they go abroad?
It was a kind of I don't know how to describe it, but it's like healthcare holiday or something
A
that you get
healthcare holiday?
yeah, it's like when you have places, especially places with some natural like hot waters, hot springs, and then you have these like centers in there, like similar to hotels with some massages and different this kind of stuff. And you can get prescribed by your doctor that you need this kind of treatment,
What?
and then you go there. Yes, and they were staying there for 4 weeks.
4 weeks?
4 weeks, yes, having
Wow.
daily different like kinds of treatments or like physical therapy or like exercises, and they have loads of time to spend there. Like the place was set somewhere in the woods and next to some like small town, so they had plenty of time just to go around and watch the nature, yeah, and just relax basically.
Do they have to pay for this or is this like private?
No, they didn't have to pay for this.
What? This is amazing.
No.
Can people do? Are your parents retired, Anna?
I think yes, they are retired
Hmm.
recently. My dad retired this year, and actually, I'm considering now if they didn't have to pay anything for this, but at least it was heavily like paid by the health like insurance service, the
This
public
is
healthcare.
this is amazing. So, like anyone can get prescribed this health holiday, or is it for
I
like retired people or something?
No, you don't have to be retired for this. You have to have some like health condition that
Hmm.
should be treated. So it's especially for people who have either some disabilities. My parents don't have any, but you may have some issues like you have maybe some problems with your joints or I don't know your spine maybe or whatever it could be. And sometimes they just like if your doctor decides that it's serious enough, then can prescribe you this kind of, it's not called holiday. I called it a holiday because for them it was like holiday.
Yeah.
But I don't know the actual term in English that would refer to it.
It sounds revolutionary. I've never heard anything like this. I don't think that we do this in the UK. Usually it's here's a pill. So going on a retreat sounds way better and probably healthier, more holistic. I can already imagine like a politician in the UK saying, "Look at this thing they do in Poland. Should we try this in the UK?" And then just the media going crazy, being like, "This crazy communist politician wants to send people that don't work to on holiday and pay for them, and you have to pay for it as the taxpayer." And then
Well,
yeah,
honestly, I think that they worked enough in their lives
yeah,
for this.
yeah. Wow. Did they like it? Did
Yes,
they come back
they
new
enjoyed
people,
it.
very relaxed, calm, stress free?
Yes, though they said that they couldn't stay longer because they got like too used to this environment already. And I think that it was like they travel, they like are going to mountains and stuff. And I think that it was too relaxed for them at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, some people are bad at like relaxing for example, when I'm on holiday, it takes me a few days to, get into the groove of no responsibilities, not doing anything. Usually I check my phone a lot and look at the news and stuff, but then like after a few days I'm relaxed. I'm just reading my book, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sunbathing, I don't need to do anything. I can just wake up, sit in the sun, go eat some lunch, have a beer, sleep in the afternoon, go for dinner, have another beer, go to bed. Like I can do that for a few days, but some people they just need constantly like something to do. They lie down, they sunbathe, they get up in 10 minutes, and they got to go do something. So
Hmm.
I can imagine it's not ideal for like everyone. I think you have to be the right type of person to enjoy that holiday. But well, this treatment. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess it depends on like your expectation and maybe what you're used to. And considering them, for example, I also like to like discover new places, but if I were to stay in one place and it was a very small place and I would already know it by heart, within this first week, and then I had to stay there for another three,
Hmm.
I can imagine that probably I would have just enough after those 4 weeks as they did.
Yeah, but I don't know. Depends what's going on. Depends how nice it is. You need some like entertainment or stimulation, I guess, during the
Mm-hmm.
day. So yeah, if you had an endless supply of good books and places to walk, and the food was nice, and maybe there's like some different people to speak to there, it'd be good. But wow, yeah, I feel like I need one of those treatments. So I might, go to the doctor and ask for one, see what they say. But
Yeah, let me know.
yeah, my
Fingers
weekend,
crossed.
yeah, my weekend was nice. Quite busy, lots of socializing, um, football. So very happy to see England score 6 goals on Saturday and come third in the World Cup, which is the best they've done since 1966. So very mixed feelings about
Congratulations.
that. I feel like I've moved on a little bit from the pain I felt on Wednesday night and Thursday morning, and even though I was watching England versus France, and they scored 4 goals in the first half against France, who were the favourites to win the entire thing, and I was kind of like happy and just like a little bit annoyed at the same time. Every goal they scored, I was just like, oh, I was like, yes, and I was like, why couldn't you do this on Wednesday? So yeah, that was a weird 90 minutes to be honest. But I enjoyed seeing them win, and they looked like they're going home a little bit happier than what they looked like on Wednesday night. So and they obviously watched the World Cup final. I'm in the Lake District. Went to an island on Saturday, which is close to where we're at. And the only thing on this island was a castle and a pub, which is very British. But it was
Oh.
tiny. We walked around it. We looked at the castle. Then we went in the pub. And then we went home. So, yeah,
How do you get to this island? Is there a bridge?
there is a ferry. So we paid £7, and a man
Ferry.
on a small boat takes you to one side and he takes you back afterwards.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Sounds amazing.
But yeah, I've had a nice weekend. I'm starting to feel a little bit tired on Monday afternoon, but I'm still in the Lake District. It's beautiful weather. So I think after I finish recording this, I'm gonna go lie down in the garden and absorb some sun rays, maybe read my book, maybe do some stretching, and hopefully the energy will come back into me. And I need an early night as well because I've stayed up way too late the last few nights. So early night tonight and tomorrow I should be all good.
Great.
So Anna, what was your very first job and how old were you?
Very first job was when I uh, finished, how's it called, secondary school. When you write the maturity exam, you're 19. Do you
Okay.
have this?
No. A maturity exam?
Uh-huh.
I've
Yeah.
never heard of this.
This is the it comes in the end of, if I'm not wrong, maybe I am, but I think that it's when you turn 18, you finish like the uh, third part of your education, or second, depending on the times, because it was like changing a little. Uh, so first you go to primary school, then we had this like when I was at school, we had like gymnasium, which took 3 years. And
Okay.
then it was like this general education school that prepares you to further education at university.
Okay.
So when I turned, and in the end of this part of education, you write something what is called maturity exam.
And is this testing if you are still immature and find
no,
farts
no,
funny?
no. It's
or...
just no, just a name. It's just a name. You write some like tests from some or exams from some, and you also like answer some questions orally. There is also oral exam from like your language, from foreign language, maths, and then you can choose different subjects that you want to pass, and depending on your score, then you can apply to different universities to different studies. And then they will decide if your score is good enough to let you in, basically.
I see.
Or rather, like many people apply and then they compare their scores from like different subjects, and they will pick the best people basically to join the course.
Got it. So you had a job around that time of the maturity exam?
Yes. Just after that, I was 19, and my first job was a job in a warehouse with books, mostly.
Okay.
My very first job was all about collecting books for people who ordered those books through.
So it'd be like a warehouse, loads of books. You'd have an order through, and you'd go find it and collect it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So each book had each book had their address, and I would get this like list of this specific order from this specific person, and I would have to go through the shelves and collect all these books that they picked.
You're like a warehouse librarian, and you don't need to tell anyone to shush.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
I think this job has probably been replaced now. I can imagine some robots doing this job now.
Probably depends on. I don't really know, because
I think in like maybe like in Amazon warehouses or very high tech companies like that, they have robots or machines that go in and find things and pick them up and take them to different places.
But I would be curious, how precise are those robots? So they don't kick, they don't like, what's the word? Like cause any kind of mess. Miss, if they miss the book, like the pile, or maybe hit it. I can imagine they would maybe cause some, I don't know, some trouble.
Well, why don't we organize a race? We'll put you in a warehouse and the newest technology of robots, and we'll see who can collect books better.
I don't know if I want to get back to this stage of my life, really, especially compete with some humanoid, or maybe not humanoid, creature made of metal, probably, and plastic.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who would win. We'll have to see. Maybe one day. So did you enjoy that job? Was it an okay first job, or was it hell?
It was quite okay. It was quite okay. It wasn't that bad most of the time. There were also some night shifts sometimes, so I didn't love those, but they were paid better. So, there are advantages and disadvantages. There was a lot of walking and standing, and as long as I don't mind walking a lot, standing for hours, it's not that fun in a place.
I agree.
So it wasn't very nice. But overall, it wasn't that bad. I can think of a lot of worse jobs that I was offered, during these years.
Yeah. My first job was a paper round when I was a teenager, and this is pretty common in the UK, where kids will work for a little shop and deliver papers. Most people do this every day, and they, in like American films, so you see like the kid,
you wrote,
and they go, then they throw the papers into the gardens. We don't do that. You actually have to go into the house. You actually have to go to the front door and post it through the letterbox, because it rains a lot in the UK, so you can't just throw a newspaper onto the garden because it will be soaking wet in an hour's time. So yeah, you have to go up to the door, post it through the letterbox. And lots of kids have this job as their first job, and they probably get paid basically nothing. And they have to deliver it, 5, 6 times a week. Usually they have it in the morning or after school, and it's like the same houses. So it might just be like 2 roads, and it might take half an hour. But yeah, this is a job that lots of young boys do in the UK. And yeah, this was my first job, and I didn't do it daily. I just did it on like Thursday and Friday. It was like a weekly newspaper, and it got delivered once a week on Thursday or Friday. And it was like 250 papers, and I had this huge stack of papers, and I'd wheel it around my route, and I would post them, and that wasn't fun. I really didn't like that, and it's just so many houses, so long. If it rained, my mum would help me, and she'd take me in the car, which was nice of her, and she always likes to remind me of
Wow.
that. But yeah, that was my first job. But I don't know how long I did that for, like a few months maybe, not long. I think I quit because it was just a big commitment to do every Thursday, and it just took like a long time, and it was just horrible. Like I was just wheeling this trolley with like 300 newspapers on it, and that wasn't fun. And sometimes like the trolley would break and they'd fall off, and yeah, I think I just gave up one day. I was like, I can't do this. So yeah, that didn't last too long. And then the next job, I was a security guard when I was like 17 for a flower show, which sounds very posh, but in my hometown, they have the second biggest flower show in the whole of England. So like this huge park gets turned into a flower show, and it's like there for a whole week. And they need to hire security guards in the day and also the night. And I don't know why they thought I would be a good security guard, but me and my friend got selected, and we're both like small and like 17. So I don't think we're really going to be able to stop people if they're going to try and do something terrible. But yeah, I did that for a week, and that was overnight. That was like 7 days, and it was 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. And yeah, that was just a week, and I got paid like a good amount of money, and it was in cash, and I was like, yes, that was great. But those were my first 2 jobs, but they weren't proper jobs. My first proper job was when I was 17, and all of my friends, apart from one of my friends, had jobs. And this was the time where I'd like to go out with my friends a lot and drink some beers in the park. And, beers cost money. And I kept on asking my mum for £10 every week. And she was just like, you're going to need to get a job. So we made a CV or a resume. And she dropped me around a few places, like shops and pubs and stuff. And I dropped them off. And one of the places I dropped them around all the shops in like a retail park. So loads of shops, and dropped them in a retail park. And the first place that got back to me was a pound shop. So everything in that shop gets sold for £1.
For £1.
And they asked me, yes, for an interview, and I had an interview, and the guy who interviewed me was racist. And he asked me if I brought an ID in. I said yes, and he said, I just need to make sure that you're not a member of the Taliban, which was quite
What?
interesting.
What?
I heard that he actually got fired like 6 months after I left for being inappropriate with women in the shop. So I
Wow.
think that's all we need to know about this man. He was ex-military, and yeah, he wasn't the nicest chap, but that was awful. I worked on Saturdays and I worked on Sundays, and I would stand at the till all day, no seats, and I would just bag items for people that cost £1. And the bags were really thin and really weak, so they would break. And sometimes I would pack a bag too heavy, and someone would walk away, and I'd just see all of their stuff fall out of their bag, and they'd come back to me, and I've already started serving the next customer. And there's a huge line, and people would come up to me and ask me, hey, how much does this cost? And I go, £1. And then they'd come back 30 seconds later with something else. With how much does this cost? And I go, yeah, £1. And the first time, it's quite funny. But after you work there for a few months and you've heard it 300 times, you can imagine on a bad day, it's not very funny. So yeah, I really didn't enjoy that job. It was 2 shifts, Saturday and Sunday, every weekend, 12. It was like 12 till 8, and then 10 till 6 or something, or maybe it was like finishing at 4. But yeah, no, it was horrible. I hated it. I'm so glad I don't work there now. And until I turned 18, so in the UK, under 18s get paid the minimum wage is less than under 21s and under 25s as well. So I think I got paid £3.73 an hour, which looking back now is pretty criminal in the UK. So not actually literally criminal, it was minimum wage, but when I think about how little that is, yeah, that wasn't fun. So considering how, expensive living in the UK is. So that was my first job. I did that for like a few months, maybe like 4 or 5 months. And yeah, that was not a good entry into the working world, but it gave me a good it taught me a good lesson of do okay at school and university or at college, and you don't have to do this job. So I'm pretty it gave me some motivation to not want to do retail.
Oh yeah, I think that some jobs put really things into perspective.
Oh yeah, and that one did, yes. I was like, I can't do this. I've also got PTSD from the music, not literal PTSD, but they'd play the same music as like 80s English music, and every time I hear it now, like some of the songs are actually quite good, but I hear them now in the radio or they come on, and I'm like, ugh. It just like it takes me back to 17-year-old me or 18-year-old me, and I'm just like, no.
Like this meme dog with this like, do you know it? Like the PTSD from the war, and there is like this. I don't know. I think that the meme came from. There was a picture of a dog, and someone was holding a kind of birthday cake to it, I think.
Okay.
And for some reason, the eyes of this dog, like his expression, was kind of traumatic, I think.
I don't know this meme. Maybe if I see it, maybe if you send it to me, I'll edit it into the video of this.
Okay, so
and I'll actually edit the meme so it's me.
Okay, yeah, okay, we can do this.
Okay, nice. So give me a quick history of your other jobs after this. Not too detailed, but like what other jobs did you have after this to the point where you are today?
So after this first job, it was a big warehouse. So they had not only books, there was another like big company selling not only books, but also like different stuff to your house and clothes and cosmetics and whatever you can think of. So I kind of traveled between different parts of this workshop.
Warehouse.
How is it called? Warehouse, yes, with this warehouse. And I had a little bit of working in a post office that was just connected to this place to receive these packages and like sort them to different destinations in this place. I also worked after that. These jobs were during my studies, during me being at university. So I was studying on weekends, and and these were paid studies. So to pay for it, I had to like earn some money and just work. Then I worked for a little in a factory that produced
warehouse and a factory. Lovely.
Yeah, you know what? I could like there were some other jobs available in the city, but these were just better paid. Like I remember when for some reason there was like this period of when they didn't need workers, so I had a trip through different like places that hired students at that time, and I still remember a guy saying to me that he would be happy to offer me a job selling fish in a supermarket.
Okay.
And like the money was, I don't know, like up to 70 or 60% of what I earned before, and that clean and smellless job,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, you don't want to
Quite
sell fish,
pleasant.
do you? Yeah.
So he was like, I said that I am not interested. I don't want to do this. And he said like, but then I can get promoted to this like meat stand. Oh no.
Wow.
Uh, yeah. So and also yeah. So these jobs in the city actually, and especially like serving or in gastronomy, I think that they pay like I think that they still pay quite poorly compared to other jobs, and I think that these jobs that I did they required probably more effort, but were just were a little bit more paid. So
Hmm.
I prefer to do this. Also, they were like I live in this part of the city, and I lived then back then in the part of the city, or maybe the outskirts, that were just close to this big area of different factories and warehouses. So for me, it was quite easy to get there from my
Makes
home.
sense.
So then, yeah, a factory producing some plastic elements and very large machines.
Plastic elements, did you say?
Yes, plastic elements.
Lemons?
Elements.
Elements. What do you mean?
Elements,
What do you mean by that?
plastic. Like for example, what could it be? Like, God. For example, there were produced some um, control panels of like different home equipment.
Okay.
So washing machines, for
Okay.
example,
Yeah, got it.
um, or these like drawers that you have in your fridge, like these
Okay.
transparent
Yeah.
on the bottom, or like these
Mm.
like other shelves that you
Yeah.
have. So they would just come out of these machines and like move slowly on this like line,
Mm.
and you would have to pick them up and check if everything is right and
Yeah.
like put them safely in like some specific way
Okay.
into
So you're on a
boxes.
conveyor belt, I think they're called.
I have never heard this word, if you say
Conveyor
so.
belt. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. What? Anything else after a warehouse and a factory? These are,
I worked briefly in a post office,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I really didn't like the rush and the vibe and working with money
Mm.
also.
Okay.
I I was a kind of, how to put it, the person that sits there in like art exhibition and like keeps an eye on people if they don't do anything they shouldn't do.
Did you ever see people doing things that they shouldn't be?
Uh no, they didn't. They didn't do
Okay.
anything like
Everyone was well
this. But
behaved.
yes, I
Maybe
work a
you were so
little and
intimidating that they thought we can't do
yeah,
anything naughty here.
this is also my suspicion that
Yeah.
I was just too
You're too
scary.
too
So
scary. Yeah. You did give off that vibe. Well, maybe they knew that you used to work in a factory in a warehouse, so you probably are quite tough.
actually, this job with these books, like my biceps, especially my left
Really?
bicep, because I would collect all these books on my left hand, right,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just walk around and collect them all, and
Wow.
it was like hours and hours of holding kilograms of my on my left hand. So I think that my bicep got much better during this time.
Wow.
Left bicep, yes.
Yeah. Just the one.
Just this one.
Okay. That must have
But
looked a little bit funny.
I am right-handed, so I think
Oh,
that this way
equals
I
out.
probably gained some balance.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Maybe that's why no one did anything in the art exhibition, because they saw your
they
left
could see
bicep.
my left bicep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go back
And
to me.
administration.
Go on. Administration.
These like local offices
Okay.
with like local law, checking if people who, for example, want to build something on their how do you call it, like possessions, or if it aligns with the law, if they can build it or not, and like answer their questions, stuff like this.
Okay. Yeah. What did I do after Oh, then after I worked at the Pound Shop, Pound World, it was called. I got upgraded to work at a supermarket because one of my best friends worked at the supermarket, and his mum was a manager there. No, she just was an employee for a long time. So I got in with a bit of nepotism. I did apply properly, and I did have to have an interview, and I did have to compete against a few people. But I think there's a bit of let's hire this guy. So I think I got a bit lucky. I got people in high places. So yeah, I worked at a supermarket called Asda in the UK for a while, and this was when I was at college. So yeah, when I didn't do very well in my college exams, so before university, and I decided to do them again at the end of the following year. So I was working at the supermarket for the entire time, and yeah, so I did that for a year. And then when I was at university, I worked there seasonally, like kind of like what you were saying with the warehouse, is that when I went back to my hometown for Easter, for summer and Christmas, they needed more staff. So I went back and I worked there as well. So I was working at the supermarket for a few years. I didn't actually hate that because I wasn't on the till. I was doing like things with the stock, and I'd go into the back and see what we got, and replenishing stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind that. I enjoyed speaking to some of the people there, and there was actually a really good environment inside the supermarket, and it was actually just kind of like nice being in some type of like big team, like a small team inside of a big team, and we're all working towards the same goal. And no one loves it, and everyone likes complaining about things, and complaining about this manager and this thing. And I didn't hate it, but maybe I have a bit of rose tinted glasses when I look back on it. And sometimes I think now that maybe I should just get a job in a supermarket, because that wasn't too bad, and my life would be a lot more simple than what it is now. But I think I'm looking back with rose tinted glasses, and I probably didn't love it while I was there, because some of the customers speak to you badly and they look down on you. And this also taught me a lesson that these people that work kind of like simple jobs, um, they're really important for the economy and the whole functioning of society. If we don't have people working in supermarkets, it we can't get food. And the jobs aren't easy. They might not be easy in the sense that they're not doing rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing what Elon Musk is doing and sending rockets into the space and landing them
Mm-hmm.
back on down to Earth. But it's not easy being working in a supermarket for 8 hours for 5 days a week, because you have to put up with loads of annoying people and annoying things, and sometimes it's really tedious and boring. And you put a genius in that, and they'll be like, this is horrible. I don't know how people do this. So it's not always easy, and sometimes it can actually be a lot of physical work if you work in some certain departments, or you're carrying books all day with your left arm. So it's not easy to set up that. Also, and the way that some people spoke to me as well. It's usually richer people, more middle class people, and they think that, oh, that person just works in a supermarket, they're nothing, and that really annoyed me. I didn't like experiencing it myself, and I didn't like it when I saw my colleagues get spoke to like that as well. So that also taught me an important lesson. And yeah, I got in trouble a few times for answering back. I'm not the most agreeable person, so when someone usually says something and I disagree with it, I'm quite happy to challenge them. Or I also think that I have quite a good sense of like justice. So I feel like I'm being treated, or someone is being treated unfairly, I have no problem with calling it out. And obviously, I don't know if you have this in the UK, but in Poland, but in the UK, and I guess in America, there's this phrase that the customer is always right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have this as well?
Yeah.
So I'm basically following these rules of the customer is always right. So I can't really say anything like rude or anything, because I might actually
Mm-hmm.
lose my job. But I'm quite a sarcastic person sometimes, so I would often reply with sarcastic answers to customers that I didn't like. And yeah, I remember someone reported me to my
Really?
manager, or yeah,
Really? What did you say?
the store. I can't. No, this is the thing. He said they said it wasn't what he said, but it was the way that he said it. So clearly, I
Oh.
had a bit of sass or a bit of tone in my voice, and yeah, I got in trouble for that. But some people just speak to you like you're worthless and you're nothing, and that just really, when you're having a bad day and someone does that, and you're like, just just go away, leave me alone. So
Hmm.
yeah, I was a bit sassy and sarcastic with some customers, but that got me in a bit of trouble. But I survived. So yeah, I worked at that supermarket. I also was a gardener for a bit, which is quite strange. Yes, I was a gardener. Um, that when I was at university, and it was one summer. There's like one of my family friends, nepotism again. One of my family friends worked for these two brothers that had a gardening business, and essentially he couldn't continue doing the work. I think he was just doing one shift on a Wednesday morning, and he asked me if I wanted to do it, and I was like, sure. And yeah, these two bit brothers, they had a gardening business, and they just would go around the nicest, richest, biggest homes in Shropshire, my county, and they would just do the gardening for these people because their gardens are
Hmm.
huge, a lot of work to do, um, probably too busy. Um, they don't want to do. They want a nice garden, and having a nice garden is actually difficult. I'm sure you're pretty aware,
Takes
uh,
time.
being a landscape architect yourself. But it's not. Oh, I'm just going to cut the lawn once every 6 weeks and plant a flower, and my garden is. It's not like Animal Crossing. It's real work, and it takes time, and you have to plan it, and you have to tend to it. You have to weed the stuff. So if they have the money, the gardens in the UK are like, people care about their garden, and because lots of people
Hmm.
live in homes, gardens are a big thing. And once you get a bit of money and, I don't know, a bit of free time, and you get a bit older, then you get into gardening and birds and things like that. And yeah, you want your garden to be nice when you invite people around. It's just like a way to show off. Like, instead of getting a nice car, it's
Hmm.
like men will get a nice car and they'll impress their friends with, oh, I've got a new car. I think mums look at how nice my garden is. I think that was maybe a little thing going on. So yeah,
Yes,
like
yes.
a lot of the men involved in these houses, they didn't care. They're just give. But usually it was the women or the wives or the mums that would care about the garden and speak to us. But yeah, that they would go around these nice houses. They would garden, and I would just help them essentially in the summer. And this was really good. This was very physical, very hard work. Um, yeah, quite fun because you just get to go to these gorgeous houses and yeah, just do physical jobs all day. I'd get home, I was so tired. Like, I'd get home
Hmm.
and all I'd want to do is just lie down on the sofa and watch TV. And it actually is quite nice doing something very physical like that and using a lot of the energy in your body, and then coming home and relaxing. It does feel really really good. It's like when you go for a really long walk and you get back and you're
Hmm.
tired. So I really enjoyed that. But yeah, that was quite funny because I was studying politics at the time, and the people knew again that I was quite opinionated. And sometimes often actually the people that own the houses, we'd have a break and they'd call us up to the house and they'd make us a cup of tea and give us a biscuit, and they would speak to us about things. And because I was
Hmm.
quite new, they'd not seen me before, they'd taken interest in me, like, oh, what's your name? I'm studying at university, I'm just it's the summer right now. And the business owners, the two brothers, knew that I was quite opinionated and not afraid to share my opinion or challenge someone. So they said, do not tell them that you study politics, because they'll ask you
Oh, yeah.
what you think of Brexit, what do you think of this politician, what do you think of this, and then I'd get into a debate with them, and the customer is always right, and I'm representing this small business, so I did abide by their wishes. I think I just told them I studied history or English literature or something, so they couldn't really ask any questions. But yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed being a gardener, but I don't think I could do that full time again because in the UK it rains a lot. You're outside in the rain. It's okay in the summer,
Hmm.
but it's just very physically demanding, which is nice for a few days. But every day, I don't know if I'd want to get back from work and just be absolutely exhausted. So, is that how you felt after
Hmm.
the some of your manual labor jobs? Like, really tired afterwards?
Sometimes, though, I think that gardening in general was probably more demanding most of the time. With some of these jobs, it would depend on the day, and especially with the factory, there were some machines that would go very slow, and like you would be so bored during this time because it was just too little job to do for this amount of time. And sometimes it was the opposite, and you would like barely be able to keep up with the machine. So it all depends. It depended on the day and on the time. Mm.
So how did you become, you're a landscape architect now? How did you land on that job? Was this a grand plan of yours? Did you always want to be this when you were a child? How did you end up there? Because it's a unique job.
So no, I think that when I was a kid, I have never heard of this profession really.
True.
It was something new, and I was already studying another field, another topic on university when they opened this course on another university in my city.
So you were at university studying a subject, and then a different university
Yes.
in your city opened up this course, and you swapped.
Yeah, I got to bachelor degree
Okay.
with these first studies.
What
It
topic
was
was
like
your bachelor's degree?
spatial management. It was like
Spatial management.
yes,
What
spatial.
is that?
It's about managing.
Space?
Yeah, but not space like cosmos.
Okay.
More like more like grounds and like when you have, for example, you have a village, you have a town, you have like any kind of settlement, and then nowadays you usually don't allow people just to like come and build their houses wherever they want and however they want.
Right.
Usually it's like you have to plan where you need some roads where you want people to settle, where you want to have like housing estates or whatever it is. How do you want it to look like? If you want to have like what kind of services you want to have there and infrastructure and things. And it was all about this.
So it's like urban planning.
Yes, very close.
Okay, nice. I see. And then you got your
And
bachelor's
then I
degree in this.
discovered that it's not really that interesting that I thought it would be.
So did you have a job related to this, or did you go straight to a
I worked a little in this like this local governmental like offices.
Okay.
And yeah, I just discovered that it's not so interested whatsoever. So in real life. So yeah, so I decided when they opened this new subject, this new course in my city, I read the description, I read what it's about, and that it was about so many subjects that I was interested in. So I thought that since I'm not going to work in this like previous field, I can go and learn the other thing. So then I started the previous topic actually studied as I said like on weekends. But here I got to it's called daily course where you don't have to pay and you attend classes during the week, like from Monday to Friday.
And you get what, a qualification at the end?
Do you mean?
Do you get a qualification at the end, like a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, or
Yes.
which one? What was it?
So after 3 years, you get bachelor degree, and after like 5 years overall, you get master's degree.
So you had a bachelor's degree in spatial planning. Is it
Management.
management.
Yes, planning. Yeah, it
Okay.
could be plan. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, management. And then, so you had a bachelor's degree,
Mm-hmm.
and then you went back to university, and you did how
From the
many years?
beginning, yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! So you started from year one,
From the beginning. Mm-hmm.
and then you did
Yes.
five years, 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Sorry?
Then you did 3 years or 5 years.
5 years.
Oh wow! So wow. Okay. So
I
you're
was
in
quite long
university.
on the university, yes.
Yeah. So you're in university for like 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Okay. So how long was your original bachelor's degree in
Three
space
years.
management? 3.
3 years, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, that's a big career shift. So did you have to? Who did you speak to make this decision? Is this something that you felt
I
like you
didn't have
really want to do,
to
or
I didn't have to I think I didn't have to speak to anyone. I just had to apply and like get
I know, but
there.
did you like seek advice from your parents or maybe some friends or
I think I talked with my parents, but both of my parents are engineers, so they are
okay?
not really into this kind of like. Well, the the other subject is actually also connected to engineering partly,
Hmm.
and that I have this like this degree also like it says that I am uh, how do you translate that? This master's degree also, or this bachelor degree also includes engineering.
Oh, okay. Nice. And now you have your own business as a landscape architect.
Yes, I started from working for someone like in a small family company, let's say,
Yeah.
just to see how it looks like to learn from someone who's already
Mm-hmm.
there
Yeah,
and who's
makes
been
sense.
already there for a little
Sure.
or more. And yeah, after 2 years, I think I started like working on my own.
So how long have you been self-employed for now?
9 years.
9 years. Wow. Okay, long time. And do you like your job now?
I like my job now, yes.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
Most of the time. Uh, I like that it's quite diverse. Like each place and each garden is different.
So, what is your job? What is a landscape architect?
Mm. The whole profession is well, it's about like landscaping, and it's quite broad term. So it may involve like making projects or some analysis for parks, for any kind of area actually, and it's all about creating a space that works well and looks well, and combines all these aspects, of environment and nature and human needs as well, and like keeps them in balance. And but most people who graduate from this field, this demand for creating new parks, for example, or like big green areas, especially, it's not that big,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So most people, I think, work in gardening and like in creating uh, garden design. And yeah, this is what I do.
Nice.
I make projects of new gardens, or projects of how to change or adapt gardens that are already there, or advise people in terms of their like green areas. And occasionally I do some measurements and like, I don't know, some mm, how do you call it when you have to like measure and check what's there and put it on a map.
Ooh, mapping, plotting, measuring. Maybe
Plotting,
something like
maybe.
this. Okay. And do you do any gardening yourself?
Uh, Mainly in my own garden.
Okay.
I
But
don't
not
usually do the. Sorry.
but not for your clients.
I participate in building this garden sometimes, or
Mm-hmm.
like doing some stuff, but it's more about like buying plants, um, like putting the the project, like for example, all these shapes of like where are supposed to be plants and where are supposed to be the lawn or other stuff. So putting like what's on the paper on the ground, all these shapes, and like where are especially some like where these surfaces connect basically,
Okay.
or these lines basically from the paper to the ground,
Okay.
putting these like plants in their places. But I don't like, usually it's just too much for one person to do. So I work with some teams that, like some other companies that are like into or take care of gardens or build new gardens, and then I kind of like work with them.
Got it. Okay. Nice. That sounds great. That sounds really fun and fulfilling, and must be fun like working on different projects with people and having a new project and thinking about it and organizing it and then finishing it and you'd be like, whew, it's finished.
Yeah,
And then move on to the next one.
yeah, that's really cool. Also, it's really cool to see this garden after like 2 or 3 years. Sometimes
Ooh, yeah.
sometimes I stay in touch with some of my clients. Sometimes uh, what happens sometimes is that they, for example, want to have like one part of their garden done first, and then they want to like wait with some other part, or like maybe front garden and back garden,
Yeah.
like do them separately.
Makes sense.
So sometimes after like 2 years or 3 years, I come back to this place, or uh, yes, sometimes I can just see the gardens if they are somewhere in places where I can just drive by, and if they are in places where I drive by.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're not calling you a creep. Don't worry. You're not
No, I'm
driving
not.
around the neighborhoods, spying in people's back gardens.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing this.
Wow. Okay. What a journey. Warehouses, factories, admins, wrong course at university, finally to be self employed and to have a good job.
Finally.
Yeah. Imagine you could still be in the warehouse, the factory. Yeah. Imagine how big your left bicep would be if you still continued doing that job now. You'd be,
Oh wow.
I know, I know. It'd be massive. Yeah. And then taking that brave decision to change degrees, which isn't easy for people to do. So a lot of people, when you start something, you feel like you kind of like got to continue it. So sounds like you made the right decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it took me a little to make this decision actually,
Yeah, I bet.
because it feels like such a waste of time, of these previous years.
Yeah, I get it.
But then you don't really want to like do something that you chose and you discovered it was a mistake, and then just not to admit you made a mistake, so you
Yeah,
continue doing this
true,
for the rest of your life.
true. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think if I missed any jobs. Yeah, the only job I've missed out is I worked at like a street food restaurant type thing, which is similar to Subway, where when you go to Subway and you can choose like what bread you have and what like filling you have and what salad you have. It's kind of like that in a shopping center in Leeds, and it was an Indian street food place, and you just pick your like a naan bread or rice, and then which
Mm,
filling like meat or vegetables you want, and then salad and then sauce, and then you could wrap it, which is quite fun. So I did that while I was at university in third year, which again, the people were nice, didn't enjoy the job because it was just so many short conversations of, hi, you're all right, which salads do you want? Do you want all three salad? And sometimes during the busy period, it'd just be me saying what salad do you want, what filling do you want a naan or rice, or which sauce do you want, just hundreds of times, just back to back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd finished that job and I was socially exhausted. So
Oh
I
my.
did get free food from there, so that was great. So that was an enjoyable aspect. The food was actually really nice. But yeah, I didn't love that job either. So, and then I became an English teacher, which if you want to learn more, you can just listen to the last episode where I go and talk about it for 45 minutes or something. So that was a whole journey in itself. But I've had some weird jobs: security, gardener, pound shop worker, supermarket worker, naan bread roller, English teacher.
Nice. That's a nice journey too.
Yeah. Well, we were going to discuss other things today, like work-life balance, but I don't think we really have time. So maybe we can cover that in another episode. What do you think, Anna?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because it took quite a while to go through all these jobs.
Yeah, we went through 2 CVs. So if you had to choose, now I'm trying to think of a closing question, but I think we've said enough. So thank you for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.